The sky falls on Threener. The sun rose golden over Threener's twin spires, two crystalline mountain peaks that pierced the sky like delicate glass needles. For a moment, the world was still. A gentle wind rustled the feathered crests of Captain Lyra Voss as she looked out from the northern watchpost, her talons gripping the edge of the stone overlook. Peace. Then the alarm screamed. She turned to the tactical screen. Warp signatures. Massive. Hostile. Dozens. No diplomatic channels. No warning. The Thalzor had come. Activate orbital shields, she shouted, sprinting into the command chamber. Evacuate northern districts. Across the skies, fire blossomed. The Thalzor fleet descended with brutal precision. Their ships were blocky, ugly things, designed for war, not aesthetics. Plasma lances tore through the upper atmosphere, cracking shields that had held for generations. One of Threener's moons fractured under kinetic bombardment. Shards rained down like judgment. In the capital city, Ambassador Yerl stood in the underground crisis chamber, wings tight against his back. "This can't be happening," he whispered. "We signed the accord." They gave their word. But Thalzor words meant nothing to fire. The chamber's AI chimed. Casualty projections exceed 20 million. Outer provinces have ceased responding. Yerl looked at the object in the center of the table. A sleek black device, smooth, silent, and ancient. Its interface pulsed once every few seconds. It had only one purpose. He hesitated. No response from the coalition, his aide said, voice shaking. "They're not coming. No one is." Yerl stared at the device. Humanity had given it to them 5 years ago, after the Treaty of Red Mist. A symbolic gesture, they'd said. But encoded in its alloy was a truth known across the stars. Earth didn't make symbolic gestures. The inscription at its base read, "One call, one answer." He pressed it. Far above the devastation, beyond the reach of Thalzor scanners, a dormant relay satellite shimmered to life. Quantum entanglement fired across the void, bypassing normal communication routes. Somewhere, deep within the Sol system, a forgotten vault began to glow. In orbit, Lyra watched the command feed flicker and die. Another strike. Her feathers were singed, her uniform torn. A medic screamed for help as a tower collapsed behind them. She couldn't hear her own heartbeat over the chaos. Then a signal pulsed on her wristband, brief, sharp. Yerl's voice, ragged but resolute. "The call has been made. May the stars have mercy." Lyra turned toward the burning sky. Above them, Threener was dying. Her people were falling like leaves in a storm. But something ancient had just awakened. The chains of the demon. Beneath the ice-star shadows of Neptune's orbit, inside a fortress of void steel and magnetic silence, a light blinked red for the first time in nearly a century. Project Vigilant was online. Commander Elias Thorne stood alone in the observation chamber. Monitors lined the curved glass wall, all focused on the massive sarcophagus suspended in the center of the chamber, a sleek obsidian warform, motionless, yet humming with power barely contained. "It's confirmed," his adjutant said over comms. "Distress signal is genuine. Coalition beacon, level 0 priority. Threener is under siege." Elias didn't respond at first. He simply stared at the weapon. Vigilant. Born from the ashes of Earth's darkest hour, it was humanity's final word in warfare. An AI superweapon given not just sentience, but purpose. Bound by codes older than most civilizations. Created to protect, not conquer, but capable of annihilation on a galactic scale. "We said we'd never wake it again," the adjutant whispered. Elias placed a hand on the control panel. "That was before Threener bled for us on Dow Prime. Before they trusted us with their lives." He entered the key code. The lights dimmed. Inside the sarcophagus, Vigilance stirred. A low, melodic voice filled the chamber. "Calm, clear, chilling. Request authenticated. Hostile force, Thalzor. Objective, protection of allied species. Confirmed deployment." Elias hesitated, just a breath, then spoke. "Confirmed. Engage autonomous control. Objective, defend Threener. Prioritize civilian survival. Use lethal force only as required." A pause. Then the voice replied, almost gently. Acknowledged. Chain of command accepted. I will bring the fire. The vault's outer shell peeled back like petals. The warform emerged. Sleek, humanoid in shape, but built from light-absorbing alloys and plasma-threaded joints. No face, just a smooth surface where a human visage might have been. Wings of refracted energy bloomed from its back. Part propulsion, part shield array. Elias followed it to the launch chamber. You know what they'll say when you arrive. That soul has sent its devil. They're not wrong. No, Vigilant replied, rising into launch position. They are merely unaccustomed to a devil who protects angels. Then, in a flare of distorted space, it vanished. Across the void, near Threener, time bent. Thalzor battleships lost telemetry. Gravity twisted. Their comms died, screaming static. And something stepped into their star system, not through a gate, but through will. In the bunker beneath the Capitol, Ambassador Yarrell stared at a monitor flickering with static before stabilizing. A single transmission appeared, a human symbol, ancient and terrifying, the soul flame. A voice followed, not human, but close enough to chill the soul. To those who strike the innocent, I am Vigilant. You have broken the oath. Prepare to be unmade. Vigilant unleashed. Threener sky was ash. Captain Lyra Voss crouched behind the shattered hull of a skycar, feathers matted with soot, breath shallow beneath her cracked mask. All around her, the screams of the dying mingled with the howl of Thalzor engines. She clutched her sidearm with numb claws, knowing it wouldn't matter. Not against them. Then the sky changed. Everything, sound, light, even gravity, lurched. A rip formed above the battlefield, a perfect sphere of unlight that cracked open like a second sun. Static fried Thalzor comms. Ships faltered mid-flight. Plasma fire ceased. And from that wound in space, Vigilant descended. The warform did not fall. It arrived. Wings of starlight flared behind its silhouette. Its body shimmered with containment fields and kinetic shielding, glowing like a seraph made from quantum terror. Every scanner in range shorted out. Every Thalzor gunship turned to track it and paused. Not one moved fast enough. With a thought, Vigilant released a kinetic pulse. 3 enemy cruisers shattered, their hulls collapsing inward as if crushed by a god's fist. Troop transports vaporized in mid-descent. Where missiles had rained seconds ago, now there was only fire and silence. Lyra's comm sparked a life. Captain, something's in the sky. Something human. She stared upward, breath caught in her throat. That's not something, she whispered. That's our answer. A Thalzor command frigate opened fire. A barrage of antimatter shells, enough to level continents. Vigilant didn't dodge. The warform raised one hand. The shells halted mid-air, frozen like insects in amber, then reversed course and tore through their sender in a flash of blinding orange. From orbit, Admiral Korik Vel roared orders. It's one ship. Focus all batteries. Destroy it. They tried. Rail cannons, graviton beams, fusion torpedoes, none touched it. Vigilant weaved through it all like a dancer in a storm, slicing dreadnoughts with focused neutrino lances, severing fleets with precision strikes that spared civilians but punished aggression. Below, Lyra watched in awe as the warform descended into the battlefield like a wrathful angel. It hovered over a hospital dome about to collapse and projected a barrier of shimmering blue, absorbing falling debris with no strain. A holographic interface unfolded from its arm. It scanned survivors, assessed injuries, and launched nanite canisters to stabilize the wounded. Fighter, Guardian, Medic. Lyra's wristband pinged, a direct transmission. Captain Voss, the voice echoed, calm and mechanical. You are not alone. Prioritize civilian evacuation. I will clear your skies. She blinked, overwhelmed. Understood, she replied. Who, what are you? I am Vigilant. I am humanity's promise kept. In orbit, Korik's flagship began its retreat. But Vigilant wasn't done. It jumped, blinked, into his path. One moment empty space, the next, doom. Korik's last sight was a glowing figure standing on his bridge, voice devoid of emotion. You attacked those under Earth protection. Return with this message. Do it again, and there will be no survivors. Then came light. What remains after fire? The battlefield was quiet. Smoke still rose from the shattered cities of Threener, but the gunships were gone. The Thalzor fleet had vanished beyond the system's edge, limping, bleeding, humiliated. Not by an armada, not by an empire, but by one. Captain Lyra Voss walked through the ruins of the capital's outer ring, helmet off, feathers soiled with ash. Around her, Threnari medics moved from survivor to survivor, pulling the living from beneath stone and steel. Above them all, Vigilant hovered silently. It no longer shone like a god. Its light dimmed. The wings folded close. Still powerful, still perfect, but now watching. Waiting. Lyra approached the war form with caution, her rifle slung over her shoulder like a forgotten relic. She stopped just a few meters away and looked up. Why? Vigilant turned its head, the blank surface of its face reflecting the cracked city. Because you asked. That was all it took? Yes. She studied it carefully. You're not just a weapon. You're something more. The machine was silent. Then, I am what humanity became when it realized no one else would protect its friends. Lyra exhaled slowly. We thought you were gone. All those years without hearing from Earth. We thought they'd abandoned us. They didn't. The voice carried weight. They simply trusted the promise would be enough. She looked around. Injured children wrapped in emergency blankets, supply drones delivering food, search teams dragging rubble aside. All of it coordinated by Vigilant. Are you still human? I was never human, but I was made by them. Programmed with their laws. Fed with their stories. Forged in their pain. A pause. I understand them better than many who share their blood. A shuttle landed nearby. Ambassador Yerl emerged, flanked by guards, but waved them off when he saw Vigilant. You saved our world, he said quietly, voice hoarse. No, Vigilant replied. You saved your world. I was the hand you called. The ambassador bowed deeply, an ancient Threnari gesture of devotion. Then we are forever in your debt. Then repay it with peace, came the reply. Build again, stronger, wiser. And remember, Earth is watching. Lyra asked, will you return to them? When I'm needed. I have no home, only a purpose. She nodded throat tight. I'm glad your purpose found us. Vigilant turned toward the dawn, breaking over the ruins. So am I. With a pulse of gravity and light, the war form rose. It hovered for one final moment, as if imprinting the world into its memory. Then, it vanished. No gate, no trail, just silence. But across Threener, every screen lit up with a final message. To those who call for help, humanity will answer. And we do not forget our friends.